Hey y'all, hey, I'm back and welcome to another edition of Hump Day Wednesday. So listen, before I get started, can you do me a favor? Can you come on in and can you click the like button? Click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. On today's show, I wanted to get into I want to say about three different things, right? Okay, some sports related, some entertainment related, and some sports and entertainment related collide. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is entertainment related, and this is coming off of the heels of a comic in Chris Rock getting paws put on him by a star, Will Smith, at the Oscars, right? So T.I. is trying his hand at comedy, right? So I love this. People go outside of their comfort zone. T.I. is a trap rapper. That's what he's known for. He's a superstar rapper. But he has decided he wants to try his hand at comedy. And he's not just trying it, he's like really studying the concept of comedy, going to nightclubs, getting up, and really trying to hone his craft. And for those of you who don't know, comedy is really difficult. Comedy is all about timing, and it's a really, really difficult craft to perfect. You may be funny, in real life, but it may not translate on the stage. So it really, really is very complicated, and some people don't realize that. Anyway, kudos to him for even trying to do something different because people will confine you to the box that they see fit for you and will, you know, tell you that you can't do what you want to try to do. So I like the fact that he's trying something different. However, he had a little run in with a young lady at a comedy club, and apparently he heckled her and she went back in on him, and while she was going in on him, she brought up some allegations that he and his wife were going through. So again, what is off limits, what is not in comedy, who knows? The lines are blurred. Well, he didn't take kindly to it, and he and the girl had a confrontation. I mean, it wasn't anything bad. He didn't hit her or put his hands on her or anything, but he did talk real bad to her. Real bad, real condescending, and real ugly. He did talk to her. Now, she, on the other hand, held her own as well. But what has happened in the interim of that is and this is what I do like about T.I. T.I. is a very smart guy. He has the wherewithal to allow something to happen, to sit on it, to think about it, and then to speak on it, especially if it's something that, he has maybe made a misstep about. So after the first altercation with him and this young lady happened, apparently everything was not revealed, as never is. We don't ever get the full story of anything. But he and the young lady ended up squashing their beef or whatever at the comedy club that night. Then, of course, however, somebody leaks the footage and then stories start coming out again. And it's just a whole lot of shit that happens when the general public gets in on it and gives their opinion about it. So he and the young lady ended up doing, I think, a live together where they buried the proverbial hatchet with the incident. But what it has done for her and what it has done for him is heighten both of their careers in comedy. There were some people who had no idea that T.I. was even trying his hand in comedy. There are some people who don't know who this young lady is. She may be a local celebrity, but now she has been put on the world stage because of her affiliation or association or encounter with T.I. So they have buried the hatchet. He apologized the way he saw fit, and they have both moved on from the situation. But I just thought it was a really interesting dynamic because this comedy thing is very, very sensitive, I'll say. We laugh at stuff that's funny to us, but stuff that's funny to us, there's also typically someone on the butt end of the joke who is getting their feelings hurt or whatever. So comedy is not for everybody, but I'm really interested to see how well T.I. decides to do. And after that happened to him with that young lady, he actually did a show in New York where he ended up getting booed by the crowd, right? And so I think people thought that he was going to be like, oh, this isn't for me, or embarrassed by it. But if you know anything about comedy, you know that you're going to bomb at some point. You're going to bomb. And I really liked his take on it after it happened, which lets me know that he is really serious about it. He made a joke about it, and he said when he got booed on stage, he realized then that he was not a comedian. But what he is a superstar, which is very true. So I just like his whole attitude moving forward towards it. Anybody can get their feelings upset about a joke, but the way he's bounced back and he's flipped it and he's kept going and he said that that's not stopping what he's trying to do. I commend the brother for it. He has a true Libra spirit. So good luck to T.I. moving forward in his comedy career. How funny is that? So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the entertainment segment. Well, this segment is the entertainment sports merger. So I wanted to talk about Winning Time, which is a show on HBO that centers around the Showtime Lakers and how the group was formulated and what was going on behind the scenes with Dr. Jerry Buss when he put the whole team together, how he acquired the team, just a lot of background information about that era of the Lakers. And so I've been watching a few episodes, and I must say I'm hooked. I love the casting. Shout out to Steve and Wood Harris. Also, if you guys don't know who they are a set of brothers that act very well. They've been in very notable projects. And the last year, they've been together. I know their parents must be super proud. They were in 50 Cent's BLM, Black Mafia, BMF, sorry, not Black Lives Matter, Black Mafia Family on Stars. They both were in that show, and now they are both in Winning Time, this show about the Lakers on HBO. That's just a side note. I think that's so super cool that brothers act and do major projects and they do them together. Anyway, so the show is really good, y'all. It tells all the background information, and what really lets me know that it's a really good show is the people who are still living, like Magic Johnson and Kareem, and they are definitely in the show, but they are completely disassociating themselves from the show. So it's as if it's supposed to be a real life story with some fiction thrown in, which is always the case about movies that are done, autobiographical movies that are done. They always throw some fiction in there, they think, to zhuzh it up for the audience. Everybody knows that real life is way more entertaining than any script that could be written. Anywho, really good show. I really like it. It shows an unfavorable side to the always smiling and jovial Magic Johnson. Everybody knows that for him to be as good as an athlete as he was, he had to have some dog and edge on him. So this show shows some of that. It shows the dog in him, and I do mean the dog in him. He's a dog. Anyway, great show. Also interesting how this show is going on right now and the Lakers failed to make the doggone playoffs. What in the world? So I became a Laker fan watching the Showtime Lakers. So I've always been a huge Laker fan. When Kobe and Shaq were there, I was in hog heaven. I was living in LA during some of that time. So it was just great for me. So when LeBron decided to go there, I was like, okay, I like LeBron, but I've always held Kobe in higher esteem over him. Like LeBron, though. Really do like LeBron. Love LeBron, actually. But this here year and this here team that they put together is absolutely garbage. And I just think it's really crazy how they're having the success with this show on HBO, and you guys could not make the playoffs this year. I mean, you could not even make the play-in version of the playoffs this year. and y'all have all these all-stars and quote-unquote superstars on your team. It was just a recipe for disaster from the very beginning. And then on top of all of that, after the players on the floor had a piss poor season, they thought firing Frank Vogel was gonna be the ooh-wee moment. Frank wasn't the problem. Frank was not the problem, but go off though. Anyway, so now transitioning into the NBA playoffs. So the NBA playoffs started their play-in tournament last night. Really good games. I love the idea of the play-in tournament. Kind of gives me the NCAA tournament feel. Not quite, because you still get a chance even if you lose the first game. But really good idea. Prolongs the season and gives some teams an opportunity to make it in. Well, last night was very interesting because we had two games last night. We had the Nets versus, who did they play? The Nets played the Cavs, So we had Kyrie playing the Cavs, Kevin Love, and they killed them. They had a huge lead, let them come back, but they eventually won the game. So the Nets are in. Then we had the Timberwolves facing the Clippers, which was Pat Beverly and Karl Anthony Towns, and Pat Beverly was facing his old team, the Clippers, right? Why did they win? They won. And it was a really good game. Timberwolves won the game. But you would have thought the way they reacted to winning the game that they had actually won the NBA championship. I mean, they acted such a big fool, and I think it's been since maybe 2005 or something like that since the Timberwolves made the playoffs, like just the playoffs. So they were really happy, and I know Pat Bev was really happy to, seek or get revenge on his old team, the Clippers, because he used to play with them, and I think he was released or traded or whatever, so it was very personal for him. And if you know Pat Beverly, you know that he's very animated. He's very boisterous. He's going to get after it. He is a needle. He's a gnat. He's going to get under your skin if he's playing defense on you. He's that kind of player. He's relentless. But he's hard, though. He's hard. So last night, when they won, he was talking to the crowd and pumping up the crowd, and everybody was so happy. And I mean, you really would have thought that they had won the championship and not just like a play-in game. Like, all that energy, I'm gonna need you guys to kind of like simmer down a little bit, because you really haven't won anything. The only player they had on their team that was acting like they had been there before was Russell. He was like, basically this means nothing, which it doesn't. But I could not believe he acted, Pat Beverly, that's who I'm talking about. He acted a big old fool. I mean, he cried. He actually got so emotional that he cried. Like they had won the championship. Like they had really done some major thing. And I'm just like, okay, I get it, but not really though. Like, sir, have several seats. Okay. Anyway, so that was yesterday. So today we have two more games. We have the Hornets versus the Hawks, which is going to be a really good matchup. Trae Young versus LaMelo Ball. So two young guns going at it. Hornets are also Michael Jordan's team. Anytime I get a chance to talk about Michael Jordan, I'm going to talk about Michael Jordan. So that's going to be a really good matchup. And then the matchup after that, I believe, is going to be the Spurs versus the Pelicans. So we get to see how CJ McCollum, if he can lead the Pelicans to a victory. It would have been nice for him to have Big Boy available, but Big Boy Zion, I don't think Big Boy Zion is ever going to play again. I think Big Boy Zion is going to be a bigger bust than Greg Oden. But that's just me. I don't know. I wish him well. He's very exciting, but he's got to lose some weight. Anyway, so by the time you guys see this tonight, they should be going in, the first games of today's play-in playoff system should be going on. So those should be some really good games. And the last thing I have is you guys make sure you come back to the channel for Friday's show, because this weekend we have a huge fight going down in Dallas, Texas, my hometown. We have Errol Spence Jr. facing off against Urdanis Ugas at AT&T Stadium. And guess who's going to be discussing the weigh-in? Me and my girl, Boxiana. Yes, we'll be back on Friday's live show of Queens of the Ring. Make sure you guys come back and join us for Friday night's show. It'll be 9:30 Central Standard Time. Be here. Actually, when you're here, before you leave here today, go ahead and like the video, please. You might want to share the video. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you can get all the notifications. And I will see you back on Friday. Okay? All right.